Hello and welcome to GPTV on the most beautiful Tuesday, the 5th of September, the first Tuesday in spring, Gary. Everything's just so much better in spring. Once winter's gone, we're all feeling great. Are you feeling as pumped and as enthusiastic as I am?
Well, I'm not as animated as you, but I'm very animated on the inside. I'm feeling very excited, and of course we've come off a big weekend, and I don't think we can muck around, Phil. We're going to just launch straight in with the towers,
Just tell us, Gary.
Yep.
Tell us about the success of Gary Peer and Associates over the weekend, because it's exciting. Because the industry, Gary, came in at 67%,
64% according to REA, Phil. And if you trust REA, and I do, they're 64%, Phil, and I reckon there's a few that might not have even made it on the list there.
Those pesky agents that have a failure that don't report.
Yeah, exactly right.
We know who you are.
Yes, we have a 100% success rate of all reported auctions, results. So 64% REA. Gary Peer and Associates with a big weekend, 86%. Get those towers up. Play some Boast music. I love the Boast music, Phil.
Very proud of the team, Gary. Very proud of all of our buyers and our sellers for coming together and making magic happen. I said our team, Gary.
No, I said buyers and sellers,
No, I said our team then buyers and sellers.
I don't listen that well and I don't hear as well anymore, Phil. I just block out what I don't like to hear, and a lot of it's your voice.
There was a lot of excitement to be had, and no doubt you've got some sales that you're going to refer to. But truly, there is no question that Melbourne excelled on the weekend, because it's almost like the calendar was open to spring and the universe knew what to do. The universe knew that in Melbourne, spring is so important, and it was just magic.
It's like Melbourne it's almost like a slumber until September, isn't it? And then in September, it's just like, bang! You've got the spring real estate market, you've got the grand final, we move across to the races, Phil, we've got a little bit of school holiday action in the middle there somewhere. It's all happening, and then it sort of goes right through. I reckon almost till February, it is just, and including February, I reckon Melbourne is still, notwithstanding all of the issues and difficulties, still a bloody good place, isn't it, Phil?
So I'm just going to pick you up on something that you've said, Gary, because you made a mistake.
Okay.
Right? Even though the theme of what you were saying was essentially correct. But understand this.
I get a bit carried away sometimes.
I was looking at the figures, Gary, right? I'm a figures-driven man.
So it's all about the money for you, is it?
No,
That's
Gary,
the sort of material person I've got as a partner.
No, it's I don't do this for the money, Gary. I do it for the joy of fulfilling people's dreams and ambitions. But the volume in August, just so the viewers know, it was our highest volume since 2017.
Well, that was a good year, 2017.
August 2017 was it was almost the peak of the last boom.
Well, Lord knows.
But our volume in August 2023 finally exceeded the volume of 2017.
Well, Lord knows we've needed it, because if you do a few month by months as you've gone through the year, it was pretty, to use a Larry David, pretty bad, actually.
I had a call from my bank manager on Friday, right? And I knew it was the bank manager because the number came up on my screen. And I said hello, knowing that my bank manager was on the other end. And there was no voice at the other end. It was just rattling. Rattling.
That's a tin,
That was a tin rattling. It was like they don't ring and say, Philip, you're a little bit overdrawn. That's what they do now.
They just rattle, It's like in a poker machine when you've got no more credit left. You press it and go, meow, meow. There's a sound. I'm too familiar with that sound, Phil, unfortunately. Got to say, though, talk about banking. I got hacked on the weekend. And because we started the show a bit late today because I got hacked. Although people watching it wouldn't know because they would have the same time all the time. But you don't want to get hacked. I don't know if anyone's been hacked out there, but someone's taken my card. Someone's taken my card, and they have had the best time. And you know what? There was a touch of, and I know this sounds sick and warped, but I almost had a touch of envy for the people that hacked it, because they've gone to Liquorland, they've spent $400, they've gone to Coles, they've gone to Apple, and I reckon those hackers, they had a better time on the weekend than I did.
Well, in fairness to those hackers, if you think about what they've purchased, firstly, there's two things there I could bring attention to. Firstly, they're buying the necessities.
Oh, Liquorland?
Well, alcohol is kind of a necessity. Coles is a necessity. Buying some Apple product is a necessity. But interestingly, because you did tell me about what they'd spent, they are actually spending less than your lovely wife is spending.
I know that, Phil. So it's an old joke.
She's been locked out. These people have taken over. You're in front.
You're not the first person who said that, and there's a bit of truth in every joke, Phil, and that's very, very true. But look, they've had a great day. So somewhere there's some smart computer people that have gone They are drinking, they are celebrating, they're eating corn chips, they're having a great time. To those hackers, you got me good, and I hope you had a good time because we're coming after you. I'm going to find you. But although they might want to buy or sell some real estate,
Liquorland.
Maybe we should be nice to them. Yeah, Liquorland.
That's a great endorsement.
Oh no, they went shopping. They had a good time. Phil, we had a very interesting occurrence happen too because people tune in for the real estate story of the week, and I got to say, there's a good story of the week because we listed a house, and the house that we listed in Caulfield North, the actual previous vendor was one of the people that work for us. It was their parents, right? So someone that works for us said, you listed that house, that used to be where I grew up.
Right.
And the people that we're selling it for, who bought the house, said, we've still got the Playboy magazines, which I think is a great, so they've still got the Playboys. So you basically, the story is 35 years ago, or whenever it was, 40 years ago, they bought this house, they settled the house, and then they've looked under the floor somewhere, and there's all these Playboy magazines, and they're still there. So they're saying, well, we've kept them for 35, 40 years. The fashion might have changed a little bit. Maybe the Playboy models might be a bit different. There's nothing wrong with me saying that.
No.
And so they've basically kept care.
It's a very complicated. I actually lost train of that story.
Yeah.
So if I can just quickly
Pick it
break
back
it
up
down,
again, yeah.
We have
one
of our key people.
Yeah.
His father
Yeah.
used to live in this house.
Yes.
And they were his Playboys.
Yeah, so we're going to get back to him now.
So Joe, if you're watching, right, we're not going to give you a surname, but Joe. All I can say is...
Nothing wrong with Playboy of those types.
All I can say is Joe bought them for the articles. Remember,
he did.
Remember,
my dad used to say that. Yeah.
Remember Playboy marketed itself on having naked photos, but interesting articles.
Yep.
And every man that ever bought a Playboy, or woman, of course,
Yep.
every person that bought a Playboy, I'm just buying it for the articles.
My father would say that famously. He'd said that as well. And I remember, because Philip and I used to go to the market. We used to work at the markets, for those that don't know that. A bit of trivia there. A number of markets.
Victoria Market.
Camberwell Market. Sometimes
yep.
we went out to those sort of grungy, Dandenongs or whatever else, which
Caribbean
no disrespect
market.
to the good people there,
market?
but it was a different kind. Yeah, I think we did do Caribbean.
Yes.
We went out there to some of those markets, Phil, but I remember once selling a Playboy magazine to a young kid on a bike because we were clearing out stuff. So I sold it and he said, I'll give you $1 and I wanted $2 or something. And I said, no, it's $2. He said, no, I'll give you $1. I said, fine, take it. And he jumped on his bike and he rode off and he said to me, hey, mate. I go, yeah. He goes, that's the very first Playboy. It's worth about $500, collector's magazine. Stuck his finger off and off he rode, the little brat. So anyway, funny story.
He now invested that money in real estate, Gary,
exactly
and
right.
He's now one of our biggest landlords.
Yeah, it's got buildings in the city, Phil, blocks of apartments everywhere, some industrial property. Well done to him.
All right, Gary, just tell me the numbers again.
6486.
6486, but how many out of how many? I think it was 19 out of 22
or something like that. So congratulations.
The properties, interestingly, that we did pass in, I think are unbelievably
That's the funny thing. Sometimes people think that we know what's going on, and we don't really always. It's, sometimes I liken us, sometimes I liken us to horse trainers, Philip, because,
no one knows anything.
I call the horse trainer, I say, what do you think? Oh, no, it's not going to win this week. So I don't have a cent on it. 50 to 1 it pops up. And I go, what? Oh, we didn't know. Then the next week it's, $1.20 your favourite. Can't get beaten, and of course it does get beaten. So sometimes I think, we're like that. We don't always know. People think we know more than we do, Philip, but often we do know as well. We know which ones are going well and a lot
Gary,
to go
I did
well.
an auction of this most magnificent town residence in Tatnam Street in East Caulfield.
Yeah.
I want to get that up on screen because that has been built by Shoalhaven, who I think without question are one of Melbourne's best builders.
Yeah, they do.
I walked through that before I did the auction. I'd said it online, and I said to James, who's the owner of Shoalhaven, I said, you know what, you nail it every time.
Yep.
There is every tick, 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 tick for absolutely everything. And it's still available. So having said that, by the time this is released, whether it will be or not, I don't know.
Yep.
I also passed in on
27
on Saturday, 27 Augusta Street.
Which by the time this goes to where it should be sold, I hope. But, isn't it funny how some of the best properties we had didn't sell, and there are other properties that we didn't expect that some may say aren't as good, but they're all good.
So check out 27 Augusta Street in Glen Huntley, one of the most technically perfect renovations I've ever seen of a period home. And then I passed in, viewers, just so you know, I'm not losing it. I did have many successful sales.
Do you sell anything?
But I passed in a development site in Stephen Street, which could be subject to council approval if you're watching 3 or 4 townhouses. Now, that is just the best development site, and yet lackluster bidding. We have an offer on the table on the day that is a bit short of the vendor's reserve. I think we'll put that together. But, sometimes you're right. What do we know? Sometimes nothing.
I reckon that finger of yours might be putting a few people off bidding. Is it all right now? You've just got a little bandage
got a little bandage
because
here.
you had the whole Napoleon Bonaparte thing,
Little bandage here on my wrist.
You had the whole, Napoleon Bonaparte out talking to the people with your arm in a sling,
I got to
like
tell
you're conquering the world. But maybe it's
you take your health for granted until something happens. Not that it was a big deal, but I just felt off. It had the anaesthetic. I was pumped
But you
up
sold
with
better
drugs.
last week, with all that. I think the drugs are good for you. Can I say that on television? Or on not television, but can I say that on this little web show of ours that three people watch?
You can say anything on this show,
but maybe
Gary.
they're good. Maybe it's good for you.
There's no rules.
Because you did better with the drugs when you had the really bad finger than without the drugs with a better finger.
Associates and GPTV, we do not advocate the use of
recreational
drugs.
Not recreational drugs, medical drugs to try to get you right.
We advocate medical drugs, but recreational drugs we've never been consumers of.
That's true, actually.
In any great
And there are some people, sadly, within our industry that, don't mind, doing the wrong thing with our opinion. But anyway, we won't talk about that because, people have got bad habits, haven't they, Phil, around the world.
Let's jump into...
Hey, no, before we do that, someone asked, Adam sent a message and he said, a mystery that he wants unsolved. And one of the many unsolved mysteries of the real estate world, Philip, and that is, why is this company named Gary Peer and Associates? He actually sent that in, and I get asked that a few times.
Yep.
Firstly, a lot of people think that I'm you, so that you're me. So people say, no, you're not Gary Peer. He's the guy with the red hair that's had all the work done.
Because they think the one with all the charisma would naturally be Gary Peer.
Fair enough.
Right?
So fair enough. You can tell yourself that story and amongst many others that you do. But that particular one, so I get that. So I go sometimes to conferences and I say, yes, no, you're not him. And I said, I thought I was. I better tell my parents. But they're not here anymore, sadly. So they didn't really...
So maybe
all those years.
The people that could really testify to the truth are no longer here.
Exactly
so
right.
we can
never
now
know
make our own truth.
We can. Anyway, why is it in the name Gary Peer? He asked the question because, of course, we were the co-founders of the business. We opened the business together. So the reality is that there was only one intellectual giant amongst the two of us, and that's the person speaking right now because I got my real estate license. And you, sadly, were still, even though you got 2 points better than me in VCE, which were both as low as, but you beat me by two.
Lower scores.
It took you how many years to get your real estate license?
27 years to finish the diploma of whatever that diploma was. But
so by
anyway,
that
long
time,
story, but viewers, just so you know, we own the business equally.
Yeah, we do.
Having said that...
Well, we have partners and other directors.
The joy of having a company called Gary Peer is... when you want to complain, you should always speak to the man whose name is on the door.
Yeah, and you've always enjoyed that, haven't you? So that's the reason why, because in those days, you had to have your license to have your name on the door, and otherwise it would have been Peer Kingston. In fact, you could rightly change the name to Peer Kingston. You're welcome to any time you like, but you've said it a number of occasions for the reason you've just said, and the fact that we're very established that we're just going to leave it in that.
All right. There's
brand.
Your explanation.
There you go, Adam. Thanks for writing in anyway. And any other fascinating questions we've got that we might be able to answer, which probably are very few?
Well,
send them anyway.
I think I want to address a question that was raised last week at 2:00 in the morning, Gary.
Oh, yeah, that's good. So I like that one.
This is an incredible story. And it actually coincides with something that was in the newspaper, the Age newspaper. So viewers, at 2:00 in the morning, and I'm long gone to bed.
It was 2:16, by the way. Yeah.
I'm long gone to bed by this time. Yeah. But Gary gets an email at 2:00 in the morning.
And I was on my screen working at that time at 2:16.
And the email says, and I can't remember it exactly, but it says, Dear Mr. Peer, one of your fellow directors, in brackets Philip Kingston, drives a very large Range Rover. Why would one person need a car of that size? And then, I mean, I don't know what your response was, but hear me out on this.
I said, I've never liked him.
and then on the weekend, a climate action group made the papers with letting down four-wheel drives in the salubrious suburb of Toorak, where I do not live, letting cars down and putting something on the window saying, you are contributing to climate change driving this gross, oversized vehicle. So...
Using paper, Philip?
I've got to tell you, the email and that thing in the paper is not lost on me, because I did start to think about, okay, well, I've got this car. I can't just get rid of it now.
Yep.
But the next car, I will get a smaller car. But I'm going to just put up these photos on screen right now as to why I drive a large car, because on the weekend it is my office. I'm carrying a lot of stuff. I can't drive a small car. And here are the photos. There is the evidence. And I do apologise for all of those that I am upsetting by driving a very large car.
You know, when I was in Paris years ago, they were saying that people don't drive their nice cars into the city because they actually do get scratched and damaged. They don't like people having nice cars.
Well, I would like to think that there is still enough respect for other people's properties that you're
so,
welcome to have an opinion. And
don't abuse.
And good opinions and good discussion will always solve problems. But inflicting damage onto other people's private property, we cannot endorse.
So, viewers need to know he's a shocking driver, right? He runs over curbs and he sort of backs into trees and does not dangerous against people. Trams, trees. He likes solid objects. He doesn't like people. He doesn't like human beings or animals. He just likes solid objects, So the reality is, you do need a car like that for that reason. Monster truck was going to be the next choice, but it wasn't probably that easy to get in and out of driveways of the homes we're selling.
Let's talk about the weekend.
Let's talk about the real estate. You've talked about a few, and it's interesting that you decided to talk about some of the stuff we haven't sold, because so did I, because some of the stuff we haven't sold is
so
top of the list, Phil. But look, I started off in Cheltenham.
Yes.
And I love it in Cheltenham, Phil. And, by the way, for anyone that's in Cheltenham, and I've got no agenda here.
I can hear a market story.
I did go to a market. I did go to the Kingston market, which has changed, named after you, of course, which has changed from Bay Road and the Pean Highway to a little bit closer to the Moorabbin Airport. But I found time in between auctions to go there. But Phil, that's not the story. I went to a place called Marco's Schnitzels, right? I want to take you there, which is in... I'll remember the name of the street shortly, but somewhere near Southland.
Right.
What's the name of the big road that goes down there? No, it's
Bay
in Cheltenham.
Road.
No, it's not Cochrane.
The Pean Highway.
No, I'll remember it later.
All right.
So, anyway, went there.
Marco's Schnitzels, bit of a shout out.
Probably the best thing I've ever eaten in my life, just about.
Really?
It was so good.
Is there a Marco?
And the only problem was I was in between appointments. Yeah, I said to him, how long have you been here for? He said, 15 years. And I said, what's your name? And he goes, points to the sign. And so I left it to my imagination. Anyway, what I had a bit of a problem with, though, was that I think it's Cochrane's Road. Anyway, what I had a bit of a problem with is that all of the hummus and pita, it went through the bag in the car, and it went all over the car, so that wasn't good. But that's good.
Foul.
Anyway, that's just around the corner from Radcliffe.
Was it a chicken schnitzel or a veal schnitzel?
It was chicken. It was actually chicken breast with pita, and it was incredible.
Lovely.
It changed my
Good
life.
story.
Radcliffe Avenue.
Sing it out.
Radcliffe Avenue, Cheltenham, Phil.
Yep.
That was sold for $520,000. Congratulations to vendor. And we had that story last year. We sold one there, and a woman got on the train, remember? And she got to the station, and she bought it from Sydney.
Yeah.
And then she went back on the train and went back home.
Brilliant.
I love that story.
Brilliant.
Phil, Cavalier Street in Bentley East. Well done to the vendors of that property. Sold for $1,286,000, just over its range, which the reserve was at 1.2, which was the top of the range. And congratulations to buyer and seller alike for that property, Phil. Webb Street, Caulfield. Well, I must say, enjoy auctioning that. Interesting, the price guide changed because cynics will say, your price guides go up, and but this one actually went down. But then we got back into the original price guide that it was with the competition. It sold for $1,488,000, Phil. And of course, 22 Bamborough Road. Congratulations to the vendor and the buyers of that incredible property, Phil. That is, as we call it, Club Med Caulfield North.
Yep.
And it's funny how things can pan out, because the buyer came. They weren't 100% sure whether they were committed. Only one of the partners came to the auction, thought maybe, and before they know it, bang, they've bought this incredible,
lovely
life forever home.
Lovely sellers, lovely buyers. Gary, I want to just talk about an auction that I did at 4:30 in the afternoon.
Here, Beach Street, yep.
Beach Street.
Hey, I might show, while you're talking about it, I'm going to show the panning of the crowd that I took.
Yes.
So that'll be on the screen now.
Lovely. Yeah. Big crowd. 4:30 in the afternoon on the Sunday. Just wanted to quickly...
Father's Day.
It was a great result.
Hey, happy Father's Day, Dads.
And congratulations to the sellers and congratulations to the buyers. But there's a lot of debate always is, what's a good time, what's a bad time for an auction? And should we do it this weekend or that weekend? Now, if you think about it, that was an auction 4:30 on Sunday.
Yep.
And on top of it, it was Father's Day. Well, that crowd was truly incredible. Yep. Hundreds of people.
Plenty of dads.
And now that we're coming into the lighter months, let alone daylight savings, let's get back on the midweek twilight auction circuit.
Love them. We love them.
Because we can thoroughly endorse it. I've sold one of my own properties at a twilight auction, which went well.
It did.
So I practice what I preach. But stay tuned for twilight auctions, particularly once daylight savings and the summer months come in.
And we talk about this at our vendor information evenings. If you're a vendor or potential vendor, send us a message and we will invite you to one of our vendor information evenings. But Phil, we talk about what is the ideal auction time, and we've still yet to find out what it is, Phil, because people say to us, 10:30 is too early, people are doing sports, and 12:30 is lunchtime, and by 3:30 everyone's gone. But we reckon it doesn't really matter, does it, that much? And late auctions can be good auctions too.
That crowd, 4:30 Sunday afternoon, Father's Day, there is living proof that it doesn't matter what time you auction. Gary,
Indeed. We've got
what have we got coming up this weekend?
Look, we've got a bag of auctions coming up this weekend. Shall we review them?
Yep, let's do it.
Phil, we have 29 auctions coming up this weekend. It's a really action-packed and busy one. And by the way, just a quick, also before we start, 1 second, Adam, who wrote in about why is it Gary Peer, also said that he referred back to the episode where he talked about, can you afford a cheap agent or, cheap real estate agents? And he said, you went on all for too long. All you need to say is 3 words: cheap is expensive.
Okay, Adam, thank you.
Okay, let's start off, Philip. I'm doing the auction in Hopkins Street. I love this double-storey residence, 10:30 a.m. Saturday.
3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, double lock-up garage. Pretty as a picture and feels brand new.
And been a lot of interest in that, Phil. Bentley East is where you'll kick off in Rosalind Crescent, Phil.
I love this home. 4 bedrooms, 2.5 bathrooms, lock-up garage, double lock-up garage, in fact, and absolutely magnificent in every conceivable way.
Mr. Jeremy Rosen's meeting Nicky Janover in Inkerman Street, St Kilda East. Good luck to them.
2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, 1 car space, just really good real estate.
Triple auction action on Saturday, Philip, at 11:30. You're going to be at 19 Clark Avenue,
Gary,
Caulfield.
I love this house, 690 square metres of land, let alone 5 magnificent bedrooms, a study, 2.5 bathrooms, plenty of off-street car parking. That's where period style meets 21st century luxury.
And I tell you where Daniel Peer meets Simon Rodolnik. That's in South Yarra, Philip, in Avoca Street, a great address.
I love this building, and that address is about as good as it gets. 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, 1 car space. Walk to Turak Road, walk to Chapel Street, and walk to the Botanic Gardens.
A well-known solicitor used to live and I think worked from this home, and we love it, Phil. It's a great-looking property in Kudang Road, Ormond.
Gary, that is a really good home. 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, plenty of off-street car parking for as many as 3 cars. Pretty as a picture.
Phil, triple auction action at 12:30, Blair Street, Bentley is where I'm going to be, and looking forward to meeting Leon there.
Townhouse in the McKinnon College Zone, Gary, so that is just wonderful buying, whether for living in or investment, because the McKinnon College Zone is a massive bonus. 4 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, at a lock-up garage, courtyard garden.
Phil, you can hop over to Glen Huntley Road. At 12:30, you're going to be auctioning number 1003.
Gary, this is about as stunning a renovation as it gets. A beautiful Art Deco home from the outside, but fully renovated with an incredible modern addition and a swimming pool at the back. Have a look at this one online. I did a video tour there. I'm totally in love with that. 5 bedroom, 2 studies, 2.5 bathrooms, 2 car parking, swimming pool, renovated home.
Phil, they're changing the Queen's Councils to King's Councils now, and the Queen's birthday to King's birthday. Are they going to change the name of Queen's Road to King's Road now?
That's a very good question, Gary, and one that no one will be able to answer. 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, 1 car space, and Queen's Road is a great address.
Sure is, Phil. Oakley Road's a good address too. Leo Samuel, we actually have 4 auctions at 12:30. This one's being conducted by Leo.
That's a great little apartment, Gary. 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom, 1 car space. Very affordable and beautiful inside.
Triple auction action in Bentley East, Phil. You're going to go back there at 1:30 to this terrific looking home being offered through Leon Guzenfitter in Gladwin Avenue.
Together with Jan Dosen, 4 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, plenty of off-street car parking, gorgeous wraparound garden areas. That is a fabulous property.
I've got my Bayside experience, Philip. I'm hopping over to Park Street, St Kilda West at 1:30.
Check out the artwork on those walls, Gary. 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom. What a fantastic location.
Part of triple auction action is to be in Neeran Road. Leo Samuel's going to be, Jeremy Rosens is there with Daniel Mickmaker at 1:30.
That's what everybody wants, Gary. 3 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, off-street parking, lock-up garage, courtyard gardens, not a cent to spend, move straight in.
It wouldn't be a Saturday at Gary Peer & Associates without an auction in Murrumbina, Phil, and we're going to have one at 239B Murrumbina Road, Murrumbina with Jack Slater.
Gary, 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, a double lock-up garage, garden areas. That is a fantastic property. I think Jack's really enjoyed being there.
double auction action, Philip, in a great parkside location in Lancock Street, Brighton East.
Does it get any better than Lancock Street? That's a great location with the park and all of Brighton East's facilities. Ben Eisner and Leon Gusenfitter have had the honours there. 603 square metres of land. A house that needs a little bit of work, but ultimately, is it the land or is it a refurbishment opportunity?
You work it out for yourself, Phil. Brooklyn Avenue is a great spot. It's a beautiful street in Caulfield South, and I know Jeremy Rose is looking forward to auctioning this for Darren Krongold.
What a stunning home, 3 or 4 bedrooms, a study, 2.5 bathrooms, beautiful, just beautifully refurbished. That is a magnificent home, Gary, renovated to perfection.
Your 6th auction on Saturday, a busy day, is going to be in Deakin Street, again in Bentley East at 3:30.
Joining Lior Barr and Jan Dosen, who are working together with this magnificent home. 4 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, lock-up garage, everything that opens and shuts. Magnificent.
Phil, magnificent is what we have on Sunday in terms of our offerings, and we're starting at 10:30, Leo Samuel auctioning, England Huntley Road, Caulfield. Tell us about
that's not just Leo Samuel, that's the Samuel brothers. When they come to town, Gary,
look out.
Magic happens. 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, 1 car space. Glen Huntley Road action doesn't get much better than that.
I love this building in Inkerman Street, Phillips. Jeremy Rose is auctioning for Mark Kirkham, and it's at 10:30 a.m.
Gary, it is incredible. We've sold in this building before. It's a really good building in a dynamic location. 3 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, a lock-up garage, a courtyard and balcony. I think that's great buying.
I'm meeting with Daniel Sun at 11:30 a.m. in Hawthorne Road, Philip, in this great apartment right opposite, the Baker Blue and Pitterman.
Yes, and the new IGA supermarket and all the associated cafes. 2 bedrooms, a study, 2 bathrooms, secure parking. That is a really, really good apartment.
Phil, Ludbrook Avenue, a great street in South Caulfield. You are auctioning 3A at 11:30.
Well, we love Ludbrook, Gary. All the history of this business goes all the way back to Ludbrook Avenue being really the start of the business. 4 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, a lock-up garage, magnificent inside, and just a great street. You know, since they did the redevelopment of the Bethlehem Hospital into the Calvary retirement and aged care facility, that whole area has just blossomed because the old Bethlehem Hospital was a bit tired. The new building is, I think it just adds incredible value. No, I've been there. To do so.
I was there on Sunday for a meeting. It's the most incredible thing you've ever seen.
Lovely.
Phil, another incredible thing you're going to see is in Hopetoun Street. I love the feel of this home, and I'm sorry I can't be there to be auctioning with you, or with you at the auction, because I've got another one at the same time. Tell us about it.
This is an amazing opportunity because it's a really good parcel of land with a 3-street frontage. So the development opportunities there, subject to council approval, are immense. But as a home, it's beautiful itself. 3 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, 3 bedrooms and a study, 1.5 bathrooms, immaculate inside. So is it the house? Is it the potential? Is it the land? Those 3 combine to make it really good buying.
Phil, a little bit of a funny story about this next auction because it's owned by a woman, a lady, who used to be my teacher in my childhood years a long, long time ago. And you know what? She was a bit hesitant, to give us the property for sale.
She should have been.
And obviously she's found a way to forgive me, or at least try to block her memory out of what a bratty kid I was. So thank you for that, and I will do my best to do the very best for you at 1 Ash Grove in Caulfield at 12:30 with Arlene.
3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, a double lock-up garage, Gary, single story, and Ash Grove is the most fantastic location.
32 Crimea Street, Caulfield North may well be sold. If it's not, it's up for auction at 12:30 on Sunday. Keep a lookout for that.
2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, 1 car space.
Lucan Street, one of our favourite streets in Caulfield North, around the corner from our office, and a great looking home.
Love Lucan, Gary. 3 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, 1 car space. But look at the facade, magnificent inside, beautifully renovated, and of course Lucan Street is walking distance to everywhere.
Raymond Grove at 1:30. Philip, looking forward to that. Daniel Pearce handling that.
Gary, everyone loves Raymond. 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, off-street car parking for 2 cars. Gorgeous both internally and externally. A bit like yourself, Gary.
Oh, thanks for that. Phil, Virginia Courts at 1:30. You're going to have the auction honours there. You've got a very big weekend, mate.
Gary, I tell you what, it's going to be pasta for dinner Friday night, Saturday night, and maybe just... I don't know what I'm going to do Sunday night because I won't be much use for anybody.
Nope.
But that is a wonderful property that is brand new, 4 bedrooms, 3.5 bathrooms, and plenty of car parking, lock-up garage.
Palm Court goes off at 2:30. Phil, you'll be auctioning that with Ben Rothschild. Tell us a little about it.
3 bedrooms, 1 bathrooms, beautiful clinker brick. I love that. And internally, it might be period style on the outside, but it's luxurious and modern on the inside.
We bring down the curtain at 15 Hart Street. Phil, have some heart and do a great auction, won't you, at 4:30 on Sunday?
Why wouldn't I, Gary? This could go one of two ways. It's a beautifully livable home as it is, but it also sits on 605 square metres north facing at the rear in a street that has just had new homes. In fact, there's a new home being built there at the moment, but that is just a wonderful opportunity to get into the marketplace.
That is a big wrap, Phil, on this week's GPTV. We could just keep going on, and we do, but we can't, because we've got to go, and people have had enough of us by now.
We've got places to go and people to see, Gary, but
houses to sell.
It's busy. It's busy. I'm loving it, and I've got to tell you, I am pumped for the spring selling season.
You need to be.
Before you know it, viewers will all be on summer holidays.
Yes, sitting on a beach.
So let's just get stuck into it and really do some good, hard work before the end of the year.
Sounds like a plan. We'll see you next week on GPTV. I'm Gary Peer.
I'm Philip Kingston. Have a wonderful weekend. Thanks for watching.